What a day. What a day. Too many things happen today. Too many opportunities.
Opportunities are everywhere.
Oh, you betcha. It's funny enough that the very best of a person comes out when they're pinned against the wall. So much fun, so much excitement. And that's the fun part of it. So if I'm not mistaken, it's not 7 o'clock yet. Okay, good. I want to make sure that we are. Can you guys hear me loud and clear though?
Yes, we are.
Excellent. From super, well, maybe I'll speak to you right now. Who is available tomorrow afternoon in to Gurpreet's office? I'm going to meet another private lender there, and we're going to have. Are you okay? Vladimir, yourself? Maybe we'll check with any of all the superstars to see all the multiple options we have.
What time tomorrow, Uncle?
Let you know. Maybe what I'm gonna do is later on after 9:15. Maybe I'm gonna have a quick call with you, all of you, all the superstars. Bunch of things are happening. Just want to organize ourselves to make sure that we are on the same page, so we can get going. Whatever we needed to get done. Too many things are happening. So there's a lot of fireworks going on, from provincial to federal to municipal to the elections in the US, midterm elections. I'm not sure if anybody is watching or not, but quite a bit of action going on over there as well. So what does that mean? It has a lot to do with what happened in US. It is going to reflect the values of real estate in Canada, and how this majority is we're gonna control the House. And it'll be interesting. I think we would know by tonight or tomorrow morning, or maybe a couple of days down the road, if there is not too much situation there. Then we would know exactly if the interest rate then continue going up, or they may gonna try to bring it back temporarily or so on. It's double-edged sword, and see whichever way. Either way, it hurts Canadians. In the meantime, anybody like to share something? I'm going to request all of you, please introduce yourself in the chat. Put your name and say, hey, this is me. This is what I do. I'm from Ottawa. My name is Cheryl Stewart. Something along the line. If you don't mind, please put it something about yourself. Hey, I'm looking for some private funds. Or do you want to invest your RSP or TFSA? Something along the line. Introduce yourself. Make sure that just put something interesting about yourself, though. Or you got a
Hi,
deal.
Navtaj. Hi, Navtaj. It's Terry. How are you?
Oh my God! So lovely. Good Good
So
to
my
see you,
wife just called
friend.
me for dinner, but I said I'm jumping on to Naftaj's webinar.
All right. Okay. I'm so happy, Terry. I'm so
I
happy
just
to.
came, I just came back from New York City. I was there Sunday and yesterday I was at the UN. I'm a member of one of the NGOs, and we were there for a program in front of the UN, and I'll have to send you some pictures about it later.
All right. That'll be very kind of you. I'm so happy you made it here. So Terry, you can ask you a question.
Sure.
I'm sure, feel free if you don't want to share, that's fine. So what's happening with mortgage enforcement now?
Well, yeah, it's so interesting. So in New York City, they had the marathon on the weekend, and it was busy, busy, busy. It was like going like no tomorrow. But a lot of homeless people on the streets there as well. Up here, I got back, and today one particular mortgage investment company sent me 12 new power of sales to send out today, just today alone. I met with another one last Friday, and they're sending me 20. They said the power sales have definitely started to ramp up. The mortgage lenders are nervous about their portfolio, but at the same time, we're all lending as well. So you're lending in present day values as opposed to February, March values, and business. I'll say business as usual with a twist.
Right. I may gonna call you tomorrow regarding something personal. This is in Alberta. Or maybe you could refer me somebody. But question is here. I was there in the court a couple of days ago, maybe a week ago. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. I was in Milton. And I didn't see much going on in the Superior Court of Justice when people are filing for writ of possessions or motions. But I see a few of them around, and I noticed that tonight I'm going to share with you some of the stuff that I found out that this company called, is it Romson? R-O-M?
Romspen, yes.
Yeah. So they start lending money out in Canada now. They were lending a lot of builders in Canada and US. It's a US-based company. And on the other hand, I noticed that there are other lenders who are becoming pretty aggressive, 55, 65% loan to value ratio.
Now, wait a second, Naftaj, is that aggressive or is that
Well,
cautious?
aggressive, they're doing aggressive rates.
Yes.
The first mortgage, shocked to know that, they're charging a lot more money, the lending fee compared to the stuff on the thing. And they are charging, I don't know, I didn't see the document. They are charging renewal fee every 3 months, 5%.
It's shocking. It is shocking. And I'm starting to see a lot of lenders that they're giving these letters of interest out to potential borrowers, and they couch it in the rate will be 8.99 to 10.99.
Right.
The lender fee will be 3% to 5%. They don't actually tell you what they're going to charge, and some borrowers and their agents allow this to go on in the belief that they have a commitment, and they get close to the closing of their transaction and they find out that it's at the high end. There's they don't lock in at the low end. They leave it, and you got to be very careful about that, obviously.
Well, right now, the way the market is, the desperation is like not a day go by where I have a couple of families calling me, crying their blues. They're going to be kicked out. We had a situation in Norwood 2 weeks ago. A gentleman called us about a year ago. He got kicked out of the house. I know his parents put a blanket mortgage, but I'm not sure how long they're going to last though. This is a very vicious cycle. When people who are in trouble, it's beyond, they can't afford it. Very simple. It's that simple. And they need to downsize quickly. And they're stubborn.
It is a cycle. And as you know, the when people got caught at the very top of the market in February, the flip side is today people are able to buy at a much lower price.
Well, I'm going to show you example tonight. It's kind of funny. One of the realtor find it, I think it's pretty nice in one way. He said, listen, you are able to buy something for 600,000 at the rate of 2%. Now you can buy the same thing at 4.99%. The mortgage payments are the same. And actually it's making more difficult for you to acquire a property now because of qualification. But to me, I mean, you know what? The market is going to definitely adjust what happened in 89 till 2002. And there are this is very one of a kind recession we're going to face, where Bank of Canada in its entire history have raised that interest rates so quickly, so fast. And now we also have pressure that 1.5 million new Canadians are going to come into this country, and how they are going to absorb it with the low supply. So I don't know, yesterday you heard the boo-boo about Doug Ford, that he's saying, oh, I need some green belt. I'll give you 9,400 acres of land. Let me get some land for the developers. And he's blaming the new immigrants to be that, hey, I have to touch the green belt. So that was quite a drama yesterday on the social media. And Doug Ford has been in the center with the teachers, and now he's in this thing to the developers. But as a matter of fact, he's a friend. I know him for a very long time, but it's all politics. All right, we're going to do this one. I'm going to get cracking. We got a few people on a go. Welcome, everybody. Welcome to Real Estate Investors Mastermind meeting. We are very fortunate to have a very good friend of mine, Mr. Waldman. I've known for a long time. Really, we discuss not real estate. We talk about travel. And the last time when we had a lunch, it was like 4 or 5 hours or something like the line. I think we talked 20 minutes of business. This is all about travel and life. Anyway, I'm so happy that he's here tonight. So let's get cracking. We also gonna have a couple of very high-end speakers. Talking about David Grossman. We're gonna have Randy Goodman. We can also have Jerry Hogenhout, and perhaps one of the person we have not seen for a long time. One of my mentor and coach, Rory Sheehan, as well. So let's get cracking here tonight. So this meeting has been going on since April 2005. We never missed a meeting. Those who have joined us, I'm so happy you do. It's all about creating relationship, building, making some friends, and that's what it's all about. So this is your group. We are simply a bunch of volunteers, you can say that. And this is all about you. The name of the game is to put some deals together. This is where we make the most money. This is a platform for all the Canadians. Hey, come and join us though. So why join Real Estate Club? Simply, number one reason, this is what's article in 2009 about me, Global Mail. Whatever you do not know, not cost you. We talk about due diligence. Make sure you're getting information from the experts, not from your friend Uncle Joe or your bartender or your hairdresser. So make sure you are getting information which is correctly, and people are going to say, this is an article written by me. It's a paid article in the Toronto Star about a family we saved in 2 years ago, I believe. This family got kicked out by the bank and we redeemed it. And we were able to give this family a second chance, put the money in their pocket, and we also made some money. So that was this article in the Toronto Star, just thought I should share with you. So networking is all about net worth. Who do you know? That's going to make a big difference. If you happen to have good people, this is it. We have next meeting is going to be December. We may going to have some surprise for you. Usually we plan the meetings 1 year ahead of the time. By next in December, we will have all the dates for the 2023, by the way. We are not still going live. We're going to do 2 or 3 times live, possibly. I'm going to get some feedback. How many of you will be happy to meet having a brunch on Sunday? Maybe 3 times a year. Nice place to go to, sit down together 4 or 5 hours and bring people like Terry Wallman or some other keynote speakers or friends who have been in business for a long time, and it can be extremely valuable. So my question to you tonight, how far the house prices will fall in Canada? Does anybody know? Now buyers are holding back. They don't know. I don't know. Should I buy it? Maybe it's gonna go less and less. I mean, they're all kind of every day you open up the newspaper, Globe and Mail, Financial Post, Bloomberg, or whatever. People say, I bought a brand new pre-construction. My evaluation came a lot less than what I paid for. Okay, what does that do to it? Newspaper like sensational news. They want to sell, and that's a good story. Well, we do not know when, but again, this is something where I feel if the number makes sense, it's a reasonably good deal, look into it. Every deal we have done last many years or so on, hey, did we make boo-boos, mistakes? Yes. But when you're going to play, you're not going to win every time. But at the same time, make sure you don't take unnecessary risk. But again, this market is not what you think. There are some areas in Toronto tonight I'm going to show you the prices have gone up. How many of you will be shocked tonight if I share with you? Some areas in Toronto have gone up its value. Would you like to see it? Okay, you can put in the chat or you can just unmute yourself. Are the prices taking a sharpest fall in? Generically, yes. But if you want to go in detail, I'm going to share with you all the hardcore facts, not opinion, the fact. I believe the fact speaks much louder than anything ever, less than anything else. Okay, so moving forward. Okay, who's the biggest, largest developer, real estate investor? Blackstone. Does anybody know anything about Blackstone, by the way? Anybody have any idea who these people are?
They are the REITs.
Right?
They own the banks.
Well, this gentleman who was originator of Steve, it's amazing that what kind of asset value do they have? And their focus is amazing. And now their focus is the land. I won't go too much into it because I have promised a few people to make sure they come in time. So Justin Trudeau, he's going to put more money in your pocket for next 6 months. If you're getting a GST, it may be double. So don't be surprised to see your own money coming back to you. Putting more money back in your pocket, that's the news, I think day before yesterday. Contract versus contracts, make sure you get your membership quickly if you do not have it. If you are not in the newsletter, please get yourself in the newsletter. The interesting thing is, when I started in this business, the interest rates were 22.75% for the first mortgage. The date I started was August 24th, 1981. That's the first time I've ever did a deal in Canada, and I made $42,000. So don't tell me you cannot make money when the market is out. Actually, there are more opportunities than ever before. I just thought I should share with you, regardless, for the sake of it. So these are the interest rate. If I go from 2010, and if you're going to look at the rates from 2010 all the way up, where are the overnight tax rates are gone? And we have, it spoiled us keeping the rate at 0.25, so on. And now all of a sudden the big boom. And this is where we feel, hey, we are hurting. December and January, there'll be more increment depending upon tonight's election, what the U.S. going to do. To enlighten us, we're going to have David Grossman right now, right away. He's going to enlighten us exactly, hey, what to do, what kind of mortgage we should have. We also have Terry Wallman, who happened to be one of the top-notch lawyer. And he's going to be also giving us some feedback. So this is my suggestion to most of the people. Hey, listen, if this thing is going on, check with your institution. If you can turn your mortgage into 40-year amortization, that could be really good for Canada. It could be good for inflation. I know it's going to take longer, but it can put everybody into ease. So if you happen to be in commercial real estate, or so on, see if you can check with them. Hey, can I get 40-year amortization? We are not in big rush to pay our principal. And the payment will be less, and some properties can cash flow. And this could help a lot of people, by the way. A lot of lenders are looking into it. Hey, if you are having difficulty, you can talk to your lender or your bank. Can you extend my amortization from 25 to 30 or 35 or 40 years? That could be an option for you. But the person you should be talking to, gonna bring him in right away. And more than half the Canadians holders are worried about what's gonna happen when the mortgage comes for renewal. And the banks are tightening up their belt. Private lenders are becoming very, very careful who they're going to lend the money to. But when you bring somebody like David Grossman, he can help you out. Here is something I found something interesting in the news: the comparison rates between all G7 countries. So our interest rates compared to US is still better, but compared to other countries is not that great. What the inflation rates are. This is something, how politicians talk to us, how the Bank of Canada talk to us. Just be aware that, hey, these are the numbers we should be looking into it. So having said all that, we are going to bring our specialist, David Grossman. Are you there, sir?
Yes, I am.
All
Hi,
yours.
Navtaj. Okay, hi, everybody. Navtaj, Terry, everybody, nice to see you all today. So the first thing is rates. Navtaj always likes me to comment on the rates. It's something people are interested in. So as you probably all know, Bank of Canada increased the rates very recently, again by 0.5 point. And people were expecting higher. In fact, investors were expecting a bigger raise in rates. And as a result, the bond yields have dropped because they had priced in already. They were expecting a higher, but not by much. So fixed rates came down a tiny bit, maybe 10 to 15 basis points because of that. But it's just a temporary thing. So I mean, it's the old story, right? They keep raising rates to try and slow inflation, but at the same time, we know there is a lag in terms of how long it takes. Big ticket items, they're seeing a definite slowdown already. It's affected real estate prices for sure, but until it trickles its way through the entire economy, it could take some time. We're not seeing a huge by any stretch impact in inflation numbers. They need to get those down without causing a recession. So, it's a tough juggling act. And I guess we'll see how it goes. I will say something about defaults, because I suspect that Navtaj, what you're talking about, and Terry, what you're seeing is probably more so for marginal borrowers to begin with. I assume, because you mentioned that it was a MIC, a Mortgage Investment Corporation, had called you, because I just read like in the last couple of days, the president of First National was commenting on their portfolio of A product, prime lenders, and then B lenders, and he was saying that they have not seen really much significant increase in borrowers that were more than 90 days overdue. They have not seen that yet. Okay, so again, these are prime borrowers that we're talking about, and those of course those numbers could change any time. We know that with RBC, for example, RBC says it expects that 80,000 of its customers are going to hit the trigger rate. And you guys might remember from our previous calls, the trigger rate is when a lender like RBC or TD has a variable rate product, and they tell you, don't worry, you can take this variable rate mortgage and your payments aren't going to change until you get to a point where your monthly payment isn't even covering the interest anymore. And then they contact you and say, okay, we've got to do something about your payment. That's what they call the trigger rate. But if you had borrowed, let's say $600,000 back in around March timeframe at 2%, for example, many borrowers were even getting money at 1.5%, if you recall, and your rate has gone up by 3 or 3.5%, right? Bank of Canada's rate has gone up 3.5 points. Your payment has gone from about $2,500 a month to $3,500 a month. It's also going to be a shock to fixed rate borrowers too, who all of a sudden, if their rate, their mortgage matures or renews at a significantly higher rate, they're going to experience some payment shock. I did want to do just a very small quiz, 2 or 3 questions, and if you put your answer in the comments, to talk about the difference between an A lender and a B lender. Okay, so with a B lender, a B lender is more flexible where income is concerned. True or false? You can put your note. A B lender is more flexible than an A lender. True or false? Where it comes to income. True. Okay, very good. Next question. Let's say you don't have much of a down payment. Is a B lender, or a private lender for that matter, a B lender or a private lender is going to be more flexible, let's say, than an A lender? True or false? Sometimes, no, false, true. Okay, so it looks like we got about roughly half and half. So here's something to consider, to remember. CMHC insures mortgages for lenders and the other insurers. They do that to help Canadians get into homes. And they do that by allowing them to get into purchase properties with very small down payments. Terry can speak to this as well. Most private lenders and B lenders for sure, because B lenders, you simply cannot get more than 80% loan to value from a B lender. Even if you have somebody who's willing to give you a second, according to the rules, at least for several years now, you need to have at least 20% down to get institutional money from a B lender. Whereas with an A lender, you can buy with as little as 5 to 10% down, depending on the purchase price. If it's more than $1 million purchase price, forget it, cannot be insured. But with less than $1 million, you can buy with 5 or 10% down. Of course, you have to have strong, provable income and excellent credit, but that was just a little FYI there for you. Terry, do you want to, if you don't mind me, I see Terry's maybe has something to say. Do you agree with this, Terry? What do you say about loan to values typically with private money?
I agree that right now, 2022, 85%, which might have been very common in the private lending world, has been cut back to the 80 to 75, in some cases 70 and 65%, so that you have to be more creative. And as I put on the chat, a lot of people are coming to the realization that the seller, in order to sell, get the deal closed, make the deal, are willing to take back secondary vendor take back mortgages. Builders, we're seeing a lot of the builders now actually doing that as well. They want to close their deals. They want to make sure they close. They're accepting vendor take back mortgages. The CMHC, if you can get it, that means you're a very good candidate. You have a great job, track record, the whole bit. Your credit score is wonderful, and you might still qualify for that 5% down, and which gives you better rates too, I think, David, isn't it? Is that the case?
Yes, that's correct. If a mortgage is insured, even with a bank compared to a non-insured bank mortgage, the rate is often better. You can get a better discount because there's little to no risk for the lender if that mortgage is insured against any loss by CMHC. So so that's one thing I thought I would just bring to everybody's attention, because sometimes people still aren't clear on that. And that is when it comes to dealing with B and C lenders, yes, flexibility where income and credit are concerned, but as far as down payment goes, B lenders and C lenders, you usually, and lenders will want to see some skin in the game. It's nice to have a vendor take back, but a lot of lenders too will want to see that the borrower has resources, either in the form of down payment, or if they're planning to do something with the property, develop the property, that they have the money and the wherewithal, the backing to do so.
So David, on the screen here, you have the fixed rate mortgage, maybe a hybrid. Is that a CMHC insured product, or is that a bank product?
Yeah, that's a good question. I'm not sure if these hybrid mortgages can be insured. I know that TD for example, is pushing these a lot now. I have a deal that's closing quickly, and they want to make sure we talk to everybody about these hybrid mortgages where they have multiple components. Scotia and RBC have been offering them for a long time, TD to some extent in the branch as well, and now they're big on serving the broker channel. I think that's what was meant by that, because this was a topic we had a little while ago. But Navtaj, is that what you meant by a hybrid mortgage, where let's say you have multiple components?
Yeah, you're right.
Right. So so it's an attractive product, because as you pay down what they call the term portion of it, the amortizing portion, there's a line of credit which slowly gets bigger so that you can access that. But you cannot access up to more than 65% on the line of credit. So I do not think this is an insurable product. I believe there was a day, when that was, but not anymore. I don't think line of credits will go beyond 80%. And again, they need to be paid. They'll want a max of 65. So once the term portion is paid down, the most you can have on the line of credit is 65% of value. But it's a great product in the sense that you don't have to go back and requalify. And the best time to get a line of credit is when you're working, when you qualify, and not once you're not working or become self-employed. I get people, they call me, okay, I quit my job, now I want to be a full-time real estate investor. Well, it's going to be a lot harder to get institutional money. Institutions, even the B lenders, they want to see some income somewhere other than just
from the banks and the banks are still doing the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 year terms, where the privates. What are the privates in the mix doing these days? Are they down to 2 year, 1 year, 6 month? Where are they?
Well, usually it's a 1 year term. There's exceptions to that, but private money being more expensive money, it's usually considered bridge or some kind of short term that you'll need to exit out of, because it's harder to service the debt, private money, unless you have a great revenue model from short-term rentals or something that's generating incredible revenue, because it's hard to sustain price. So typically terms are 1 year, and I know you've demonstrated a lot of flexibility too. Terry and I have worked together, so sometimes people want just money for short term. They want to fix, flip, and so the options are available.
All right, this is David Grossman, ladies and gentlemen. Make sure you speak to him before you renew your mortgage. Do not simply renew your mortgage because banks have no mercy when it comes to the rates. Speak to him. It doesn't cost you a dime. 416-876-2031, or I like his website, rockyourmortgage.ca. David at rockyourmortgage.ca. Please get him in touch. He's going to be hanging around here. I know he has to go early, but maybe he's gonna hang around because Terry Wallman is here. No, maybe he's gonna hang around for a while. All right, we're gonna thank you, David, once again.
Thank
We're
you.
gonna move to the next thing. Oh my Lord, we're talking about taxes again. They're gonna introduce a new tax. Some of you may not heard about it, how much taxes we pay, and they're gonna be new tax called anti-flipping taxes. So this is gonna happen in January. I have written an article. There's a video. Anybody who wants a copy of it, please send me a request. We'll be happy to send it to you. And hopefully, Jerry, are you there tonight? Jerry Hogan? Out? Okay, I'm gonna get back to him shortly because otherwise we're gonna bring the next guest as well if he's not here. And we are going to bring one of the most respectable in my life, especially my mentor, my coach, Rory Sheehan. Are you here, Rory?
I am, yes. Thanks, Nev.
He is the 5-time winner of the Reader's Choice Award, Train of the Year, and he has something special for our group tonight. I do believe he may gonna offer us a one-day training at incredible value. As his student, as his mentee, we as a friend for many, many long years, more than 20 plus years. I suggest very carefully that these type of educational trainings doesn't come that often. So take a full advantage of it. So Rory, it's all yours, my friend.
Okay, thanks, Nev. Thanks. Nice to see everybody again. Thanks for inviting me. I just wanted to share some thoughts tonight about managing conversations. What I'm finding is the people that I'm talking to, there's a lot of fear out there. People are afraid to make decisions. They've been bombarded with the media over the last 2.5 years and really poking that fear button. So people are, their anxiety levels are very high. So what I want to chat about tonight is really about some ideas that will allow you to better manage a conversation and to get them to say yes. So now I have some slides. Is it okay to share my screen?
Sure, please do that.
This will stop screen for sharing. Do you want to? Okay. So are you able to, it should just say my name on the screen. Are you able to
We
see
can
it?
see it now. Yes. Thanks.
Okay. So when it comes to asking questions, there's 8 different types of questions you can ask. And I'm not going to go through the entire list. There's a couple that I want to focus on tonight, but you can ask questions that are open-ended. You can ask questions that are closed-ended, alternative choice, throwback questions. The one that we're going to focus on tonight is getting yes or no answers, which is number 5, and then tie down questions, which is number 6, or you can ask clarifying or confirming questions. The idea is if we ask a question that starts with the word other than who, what, where, when, why, or how, we're going to get a yes or no answer. We don't know what we're going to get. We just know that we're going to get a yes or no answer. So as an example, here's just some words that can start questions. So does this make sense? It's going to be yes or no. I don't know what I'm going to get. I just know that I'm going to get a yes or no. Do you understand this idea? Yes or no. Is this making sense? These are all going to lead yes or no. So what you want to do is you want to phrase your question in such a way that you're always guiding the person towards the outcome that you want. So what we want to do is we want to understand that if we start a question with any word other than who, what, where, when, why, or how, we're going to get a yes or a no. At this point, we don't know what it is. We just know it's going to be a yes or no. So why do prospects say no? Well, they say no because it's easy to say no. They say no because it does give them a sense of control, and they say no out of force of habit. It's just a knee-jerk reaction. So and you've probably seen this. If you've ever gone into a clothing store and you know what you're looking for, but you just can't find it, and somebody comes over and says, "Can I help you?" Your knee-jerk reaction is to say, "No, thanks, I'm just looking," and then they'll walk away. So we've been conditioned as using no as a default. So what we want to do is we want to understand that if we get a yes or a no, what do we do with that? So here's the rule. If you get a yes, the next words out of your mouth are going to be yes and then you're going to get more specific as you guide the prospect in the direction of closing the sale. If they say no, the next word out of your mouth is going to be but. And the reason that is that whenever you say the word but or you hear the word but, what that means is that whatever was said before the word but is removed, and whatever said after the word but is emphasized. Now, if you ever get a chance, Nav has met my boys. My boys and I did a presentation for Nav's, a fundraiser for Nav years and years ago when the boys were really little. But if you ask my boys, when they were little, we had a rule that they were not allowed to say, but daddy. So if I said it's time for bed and they went, but daddy, they weren't allowed to say that because they're negating what I just said. They're turning it to zero, and then they're trying to emphasize why they should be allowed to stay up. So when somebody says the word but, what they're saying is what was said before the word but means nothing. What's going to be said after the word but is really important. So if we ask somebody a question and they say no, we're going to say but, which negates the no, and then we're going to get more general so that we can get an agreement. So if I say, does that make sense? And you say no, but is there any portion of this that you find is helpful? And I'm going to get more general. If you say no, but there's a lot of information that would help you move things forward, wouldn't you agree? And I'm going to keep on getting more general until I get an agreement. So the rule is, if you hear yes, then you say yes and you get more specific. If they say no, you say but, and then you get more general. And I just put down this very simple little example. If I ask you, do you want to buy a Toyota LX, and you say no, then I say, well, what, I can start getting more general. Well, are you interested in a Toyota? No. But are you interested in getting a new vehicle? No. Well, are you interested in finding more manageable frames of transportation? And I'm just going to keep on getting more general until I get a yes. And then once I get a yes, I'm going to steer them back to whatever it is that I'm selling. Does that make sense? So now let's pretend you said no, just for the sake of example. So I said, does that make sense? No. But you understand there's lots of different ways to use these ideas. Does that make sense now? Yes. All I did was get a little bit more general. And now I get my yes so that I can guide you back. So the rule is, if you ask a question and you get a yes, then you say yes and you get more specific. If their answer is no to your question, as soon as you hear the no, you say but, and you get more general. And I just want to share a way so you can always 100% of the time get a yes. So if you make a statement and finish it with a negative contraction, so don't you, doesn't it, isn't it, wouldn't it, couldn't it, shouldn't it, anything like that, you're guiding the person to say yes. So if I say to you, this makes sense, doesn't it? I'm guiding you to say yes. You see how this works, don't you? You see the power of this, don't you? Maybe you can even imagine how you're going to use this in conversation, and that will be pretty cool, wouldn't it? So I'm guiding you to say yes so that I can get the momentum going in my direction. And the more you say, I know in a lot of sales training, they talk about, oh, you want to get yeses, you want to get yes as much as possible. The greater level of importance now is the more the prospect hears themselves say yes, the greater reduction in fear they experience, because the yes is an indication of comfort. So we want to get lots of yeses, lots of agreement, so that we can bring down that high level of fear to make it easier for them to complete the transaction. Does that make sense? Any comments or questions at all?
And what if the answer is,
I'll take that as a no. So then I'm going to say, but, and I'm going to get more general. Or I might ask another question. So if I say to you, what do you think of this? And you go, well, I'm going to say, would it be helpful for you? I'm going to get more general. Would it be helpful for you if I provided you with a little bit more information? So I will get, if I get general enough, I will get agreement. So if I start talking about something too specific and I get a no, I'm just going to keep on getting more and more general until I get a yes. So if somebody says, I'm going to take that as a no and I'm going to get more general. Does that make sense?
Yep.
And you see how this works, don't you? And you see how I just got two yeses.
Sort of. I'm not sure.
Sort of.
I'll think about it. I'll
But
get
you
back to
understand. Okay, so just if you want to play a little, Terry, I really don't mind. And it's actually helpful when we play like this. So sort of. But you understand that there's lots of different applications for something like this, don't you?
Yes.
Okay, see what I'm doing now? And then I
No.
can guide them back. And if I were to look at the different applications for you in your business, for you to get, a series of yeses, what would be the most helpful for you in your business when you're working with somebody to get a series of yeses? What part of your business would be most helpful?
Sign on the dotted line.
Yeah. Okay, so now I'm going to take that as a yes. So I'm going to yes. And when you get the sign on the dotted line, and I can keep on moving forward and getting more specific. You see how this works? And you can have fun with it.
I'll think about it and get back to you.
But you understand that when somebody says that they're going to think about it to get back to you, what they're saying is, I need a little bit more information so that I can make a connection between what you're selling or what you're explaining to me and what's going on inside my head. See, my job is really to get inside your head so that I can create that connection between what you're thinking and what I'm selling. And once that connection is created, then there's no resistance. And that's really what we're focused on in sales.
So you're showing someone a great deal that they should be very happy to accept, and they don't get it.
Mhm.
How do you move that along?
Oh, okay. That's a great question. Before I get to that point, I'm going to ask them 3 very specific questions so I know exactly what's going on inside their head. And then I'm going to relate everything back to what's going on inside their head. So what is it that you sell?
Time.
Time? In what way?
No, I'm a lawyer.
You're a lawyer. Oh, I love picking on lawyers. Thanks for
Of
playing,
course.
Terry.
It's okay. I'll pick back.
It's okay. It's okay. So let me give you just a lawyer example, just to illustrate the point. If you're working with someone and you want to put a deal together, or even if you're working with a judge that you've never been in front of before, and you say something to the effect of, I just want to make sure that I understand clearly. Is it okay if I ask you a few quick questions just to get some clarity in my mind? Is that okay to ask a few quick questions?
Yes.
I've never had the other person say no to that. They want to be helpful. So then I'm going to ask, and we can role play this if you like. I'm going to ask a question that is, what's the most important to you about? So when it comes to putting a real estate deal together, what's most important to you? Make up any answer.
Clarity.
Okay. And then I'm going to use that word back. And then my second question is, what about clarity is so important to you, Terry?
That both sides understand the terms and conditions of the agreement.
Sure. And then my third question is, and making sure both sides understand the terms and conditions of the agreement, what's that going to do for you personally?
It's going to streamline the process, make it so much easier. You have both sides of the same meeting of the minds.
Right. And really a meeting of the mind, and then I'm just going to get you to say yes. A meeting of the minds, that's really what it's all about, isn't it?
Correct.
So see how this works? So now later on, so as I go through my presentation, I want to make sure that I'm getting agreement around meeting of the minds, because you just told me that's the most important thing to you. So I'm going to be asking, does this seem clear to you? Do you understand that how with this approach, we're going to be able to put this together? It's going to be very manageable. As we move forward, we have a meeting of the mind. Do you see how this is going to work? And I can see you nodding your head, yes.
I understand the process, yes.
Yes. So what I'm doing is asking some questions so that I can get clarity about what you're thinking around what's most important to you. And then later on, I'm going to get yeses based on what you just told me. Because my job is to make a connection between what you just told me is what's most important to you and putting this deal together. You see how that works?
I do.
Fantastic. Thanks. Thanks for playing, Terry.
Okay.
Any other questions? I wasn't too hard on the lawyer, was I? I don't want to.
No, and you know what? Other people, that you should jump in. Don't hesitate to jump in. This is fun. It's a fun evening.
Oh yeah, yeah. these types of skills you can use any context. Like I just mentioned, I used it when my kids were little. You can use this in negotiating. You can, use it in any situation, whether you're in front of a judge or whether you're putting a deal together with somebody or whether you're working with your kids at home. You can use it in any context. If you're interested, and I'm not going to
say about the kids at home though, so my kids are older, but what do you do when the kids go, Dad?
Well, when a child does that, what they're saying is that there's a mismatch in the meeting. There's not a meeting of the minds. So that's an opportunity for them to be the teacher and you to learn. Now, when that happens, and that happened actually earlier this evening when we were having supper together, because there's words that they use now that are different than the words when I was growing up. So I will say something and they're going to say, well, yeah, that might have been appropriate when you were young, but we don't say it that way anymore. So when they say that, that's usually a sign that there's an opportunity, a learning opportunity to establish a meeting of the minds. And it's great conversation too. If anybody's interested, on December 17th, I'll be teaching a live class. It's not going to be on Zoom. It's going to be live, where we're going to use a lot of these skills and learn about these types of skills. It's a program I call conversational selling. And we're going to go through these types of techniques, starting actually with those 3 questions so that you can understand what's going on in somebody's head. And then what to do once you have that understanding, how to guide them in the direction of a conclusion. And the essence of the program is really learning how to capture somebody's imagination. And once your words match their thoughts, there's no resistance to what you're saying because they perceive your words as their own thoughts. So that's what we're going to do on the 17th in conversational selling. So if you're interested in that, please, I'll put the link to the Facebook information up in the chat in a moment. And then on the 18th, the next day, we're going to be doing a full day on body language for professionals. So what we're going to do is look at how to interpret body language, and understanding body language is an indication of what's going on in somebody's subconscious mind. And to me, when you put these 2 techniques together, these 2 skills together, it's like having a superpower. During the body language course, as a bonus, we're also going to be looking at the body language of deception. So you're going to be able to tell when somebody's being deceptive. The person that taught me this, Terry, you might be interested in this, is the person who teaches the FBI behavioral profiling. And he has 4 levels of his training, and I've completed all 4 levels. So we're going to be incorporating those ideas into our program on the 18th. And it's a lot of fun. So for both those days, I will be asking people to use their powers for good and not for evil. So I will be putting, I'll post it here so you can see it, but I'll put these links in the chat so you can check it out. If you have any questions, feel free to give me a shout. And I'm happy to answer your questions. And if you're able to join us on December 17th for conversational selling or December 18th for body language for business professionals, they will be live. They will not be on Zoom, and it'll give you lots of chance to practice and have some fun with the skills. So I hope this gave you something to think about as far as questions go and how to get people to yes, and how to guide them so that they feel comfortable having that meeting of the minds with you. So, and that's what we're going to be building on in these programs. So thanks very much, Nav. Thank you for the time. And I hope this was helpful. If anybody has any questions, I'm happy to take your questions.
Anybody, just go ahead, please, if you get a quick question. You can only allow 2 questions tonight. Otherwise, you can ask every question in the chat. I want to say thank you very much, Rory.
Okay, thanks, Nav. I will put those links
it.
in the chat, and then I
Yes,
just
please. And in case you don't get the links, you can call me directly. I'll be happy to put you in touch with Rory Sheehan.
Great, thanks.
And
Nav.
as I said, he's a friend, he's a family from a very long time, and he helped me many times over to raise money for sick children hospitals. Some of you might know of it. And something, I will never ever forget that those people were there. It was such beautiful, noble cause to raise money. So his children were small, but he didn't hesitate. He brought the children in because it was for children.
Yeah.
It was for us.
They're both taller than me now. That was a long time ago.
Yeah, I'd like to meet them soon, most probably, and see.
Yeah.
All right, we're going to move along. Next thing is what is happening in the market. and what's happening with the prices. And there's a word people utilize. The word people utilize a lot. The word is called crash. What does crash mean in real estate? Well, generally speaking, when the property value drop more than 20%, we consider a crash. Now, here's some good news and bad news, and there are something everybody have to readjust in this market. The Toronto saw 0 single family who got sold, and prices for the new condos trimmed by 30,000. What does that mean? The builders have to sharpen up their skill, come up with 0% financing, offer a little bit more incentive, and so on, so that they can move on their inventory. There will be a lot of defaults. There's not a day go by where I will get a call or two. Listen, I got a property, I got 2 properties, but I don't have financing, I don't qualify. My property value have dropped by 250,000. And now I may not have enough down payment to move to the next one. And if I default, what will be the reason? I refer them, hey, listen, speak to your lawyer, or I can refer you a few lawyers, speak to them. I can recommend you 3 different lawyers, or just call Law Society of Canada and see which one will be the right person for you. But these are the facts and figures, and they're not building that many houses, but there are some shocking news I'd like to share with you tonight. Majority of people right now in a negative mode about real estate, but there's a bright side to it. A lot more bargains, no competition. And there are areas which are appreciating a lot more than what you're aware of it. And again, talk is cheap. Let's talk about it. These are the areas where people are overbidding in October 2022. Now we are November 8th tonight. So even people are bidding up to 14% higher than the asking price. What are these areas? Ladies and gentlemen, here are the areas: Richmond Hill and Westbrook. Sold versus listed price. If you look at the percentage, Markham, North York, Oshawa, and Markham again. Again, these are areas within the area itself. And this is information where we notice that these areas are still extremely hot, while the interest rates are much higher, but there's not enough supply there. The biggest problem right now we are having in Toronto, not enough detached home for sale. Inventory is dying down for detached houses. So the strategy, you want to look into these areas. If you happen to get any piece of property in this area, it'll be easy flip to sell. Very easy to wholesale it. Now, what area you want to avoid these are the areas where the prices are down dramatically. Oakville in the East Lake, Forest Hill in Toronto, about 9%. Now, Oakville, North York, and the York Mills area, I believe they're talking about St. Andrews, which is York Mills and Lawrence, and the Lawrence Park, which is more or less Lawrence and Mount Pleasant area, are going towards Bayview, from Young to Lawrence. There's a whole area on top of the Rosedale Golf Course. So these areas have noticed that their prices compared to what they are listed for and what they're getting it for. So again, when somebody make a blanket statement, don't go for it. And make sure you are listening to it. Make sure you got the facts in front of you, and you can talk to realtor. Hey, listen, how about the East Lake in Oakville? Is it down by 10%? Why is that much? Which area of the Forest Hill is down by 9%? Is it the Village, is it Sabina and St. Clair? Because it starts area is from Bathurst and St. Clair all the way north, not south. But be aware of it. Just thought I should share with you. So these are the greatest bubbles in 2022. When we look at Toronto, where we find that, hey, things are a little higher, some are a little bit lower. Again, this is happening around the globe. And Toronto is a bit higher compared to any other areas. And again, we cannot just conclude, hey, Toronto's bad. No, there are some areas in Toronto which are really good areas to go with. Now, how the prices have changed across Canada, if you want to take a quick picture of it, you're welcome to do so. But again, this is from September to September of last year. Now, if you notice that there are some areas where the price have gone up by 9%, which is Victoria. Something gone up in Ottawa, and something also gone also in Montreal, also gone in Calgary. So these are the areas where you'll find the opportunities still. There are a lot of opportunities in Edmonton, by the way. Edmonton, Calgary are still hot. And again, you can face with the fact that there's going to be still an appreciation in this market, by the way. So this is, again, the rest of the area. If you want to look into it, you're welcome to take a picture. If you need a notes, I'll be more than happy to share with you. Sudbury is extremely hot, by the way. And there are some areas which are in Quebec are doing pretty good, actually, though, in this market. So to enlighten us all, we're going to bring over one of the top-notch realtor and broker and my sister, Randy Goodman. She is 9 times, not one time, 9 times international best-selling author, Randy Goodman. Randy, it's all yours, my friend.
Thank you, my brother, and hope to be 10 time very shortly.
Excellent. We're waiting for that, my friend.
So thank you for being here, everybody. You know, I got into real estate because I'm a real estate broker. And I got into real estate because, well, people had been bugging me for like 25 years. And I always went, yeah, poo-poo, poo-poo, and didn't get into it. But then years ago, a friend of mine said something to me and it just resonated with me at the right time. And I decided now is the time to do it. So I had always been passionate about real estate, having been an investor for over 30 years now. I've been also producing events for the last 14 years and publishing for the last 8. I've always had successful events and businesses with Toronto Women's Expo and empowering women to succeed. I've helped about 200 people become #1 international best-selling authors. And we're currently launching our coffee table book, Leaders with Impact. So I'm super excited about that. So I'd like to ask if you would please help support our authors and click on the links that I'm going to put in the chat here. The electronic copy of the book is only $1.99, and I'd be so grateful if you guys would click on the links depending where you are and just grab a copy of it. It gets released tomorrow online. We're going to have a live launch December 6th. And so back to real estate. My son and I got licensed together. I have 4 boys, all within 4.5 years of each other, and love them to death. A great dynamic. I went to school with my youngest, which was a ton of fun. And I never thought I would be a real estate broker, never mind a successful one. Real estate has been such a huge blessing for me. When someone writes a chapter in my book, they pay $5,500. But when I have a real estate deal, it's a lot more than that, of course. So if you told me when I got into real estate that I would sell a $7 million home, I would have become a realtor a long time ago. If you want to have a conversation about becoming a realtor, have a chat with me. I can definitely steer you in the right direction. So 3 of the ways to make money in real estate, just 3 samples here. Of course, there's many ways to make money in real estate, but 3 examples would be 1, flipping in real estate for profit. So for example, say you find a nice lakefront property or a property in a great area, and it's a rundown property or a distressed property or, you know, maybe a power of sale property. Buy that property if you can get it, do the work on it, and then sell it for potentially 2 or 3 times the amount that you purchased it for. You can probably pick one up for less than $1 million. When you work with me, I help you find the right properties that will cash flow and appreciate. I help my clients find homes that they can work on getting a good return on for their investment, and also to find their dream properties where they may not want to be earning money on them. Navtaj is a master of teaching how to find distressed properties and deals of all sorts. Now, how many of you, please put Y or an N in the chat box. How many of you are students of Navtaj or have been students of his? Oh yes, lots. Awesome. I love it. Yeah, I've been a student too. I'm a student too. So I love it. Thank you. Oh, we're getting lots of yeses. I love it. Good stuff, Navtaj. If you haven't taken a course with him, please do. He's absolutely fantastic. The information is incredible and it's like no other. So definitely tap into one of his courses. So another way you can make money in real estate is to get a pre-construction condo for less than the retail prices, and you can assign them also if you want. So an assignment sale is when you sell a property prior to closing on it. So you're actually selling the paperwork on the property and not the property itself, because you're not an owner yet. You do need to have a clause in the agreement allowing you to do so, or else the developers are not going to be happy with you and could cause you a lot of trouble. But you want to buy a pre-construction condo from a reputable developer, because some of them don't complete their projects and they put buyers at risk of losing their deposit money. The Tridells of the world, on the other hand, don't want to ruin their reputation, so they complete their projects. If you have a good realtor working with you, they will help you find a reputable builder. When you find a great condo, what do you think it'll be worth 3 years from now? They always seem to appreciate. So it's a nice little investment to have. You don't have to paint, you don't have to build. And of course, if you work with me, I will make sure you have an assignment clause in there so that if you choose to sell prior to closing, you can absolutely do that. Okay, so another way to make money in real estate is if you have equity in your home. Let's talk. It doesn't hurt to borrow to make money. Interest rates won't be high forever. They're always fluctuating. So for example, if you're paying an additional $300 a month right now because the interest rate went up, so 300 times 12, that's only $3,600 for the year. Why don't you borrow and invest? Interest rates could come down in the spring. We don't know. Right? We don't know where they're going to go. If you look back in time, you'll see that over time, properties appreciate. Yes, you have ebbs and flows, but the trajectory always seems to be going up, even with the ebbs and flows going up and down. So if you're interested in buying a pre-construction or resale property, I can help you. It's great to have someone you can trust. So love to get to know you. That's the best kind of relationship to have. And if you don't have a realtor that you're working with, I'd be happy to work with you. So please connect with me. And I hope that added some value to to your day.
All right. Thank you so much, Randy. Randy, you can just reach her directly, 647-284-7601, or just Google Randy Goodman. And she is a promoter. We have done a few shows together in Calgary and Toronto and so on. That was 10, 12 years ago when Randy was only 16 and just turned 18 yesterday or something like that. But I'd like you to bring your son next meeting. Love to
Okay.
see him, because when I saw them last time, that is 2008.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Anyway, thank you, Randy. We're gonna
Thank
keep
you.
moving along. Is Jerry, are you there? I guess not. Jordan, are you there tonight? I guess not. Okay, we're gonna move forward. How many of you heard the terminology called stink bids? Now we're gonna take a quick break, and I've written an article on this one too. You will get a copy of article as well as a video. What is the stink bids? How does it work? What this is there a strategies during the boom or burst? Yes. Does it work? Absolutely. And I call it stinky bids or stinky offers. And a lot of realtors don't like it, but if you utilize it properly, you might be able to buy a lot of really good deals at a huge discount or at a great terms, 0% financing for a long time to come, where nobody can match up that, by the way. So I think I'm gonna skip this one. We're gonna break at the end, by the way, because a lot to cover tonight. And I'd like to share with you. Is that okay if we skip the break right now, but we're gonna take a break, networking break at the end, which will be a lot longer than otherwise. Will that be okay with you guys? If you say yes, that will be great.
Yes.
Oh, yes, okay. We got a bunch of yeses, 4, 5, 6 yeses. That's all I needed. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
So we're gonna move forward quickly and see what is the next deal. Gonna skip all that quickly. Pre-can present about Ikigai. If you are like me, crazy, I call myself junkie or real estate junkie buyer, whatever you want to call me. You got to love this business. If you're really good at it, the universe needs it, you get paid, you make a lot more money than any other profession. But make sure it's a kind of your passion. If you're a people's person, you have a good value behind it. And this business is incredible business, by the way. So on Garden Street, I talk about every time, please, Toronto is open and they're giving $50,000 interest free, but you have to follow part of their guidelines, who you can rent, who you cannot rent. But it's a great opportunity to turn your garage into Garden Suite in Toronto. Check with the city first and make sure that you or your area is qualified to do so. So Canada is closing down their door for foreign home buyers for 2 years, starting January 1st. And this is going to, not sure if you're going to help or not, but they don't want them to acquire residential properties in Canada. I'm not sure how it's going to work, but that's the law coming in as of January 1st, 2023. Just thought you should be aware of it. Ontario is raising the money for the foreign buyers. They want to tax a little higher than from 20% to 25% if you're a foreign national. And they just want to have non-residential speculation tax. And this is also happening at the same time. So what are the telltale signs when the builders stop buying? This is a typical boom, and you can look at it, how the developers move, because developers are the one who are going to bring a product or a service on the table. And by knowing where they are, this is it. Now, as we speak, speculators are getting burned. People who are not professional investors, don't have proper education, they were just gambling. Let's buy now and sell it down the road, whatever it is. Now they're getting burned as we speak. And this might be an opportunity where we're going to keep going further down, or I'm not sure if we hit the rock bottom yet, but just see the telltale signs, see the hard market is doing. Please do not take a statement from somebody if they cannot back it up with the facts. We need to have the facts. The facts speaks much, much louder than otherwise, though. So make sure the facts are in place before you say, okay, yes or no type of thing. Now I'm going to share something with you just to take you back in some of the booms and bursts we have. The last burst we had, which was horrible in 1989, where average house price went to 273 in 1989. To bring back to the same price, it came back in 2002. So just imagine 13 or 14 years, you hold on to the same property, the property value did not go up. Now, would it be the same thing this time? Perhaps not. Things change rapidly, by the way, but the stats, the history, whatever happened in the past, will it repeat itself? To some degree, yes. It's a cycles. But be aware that you're working with the numbers and facts instead of somebody expressing their opinion, by the way. A 0% loan are available from the city of Toronto if you're doing something to save some energy, by the way. Forgivable down payments are available in some areas and make sure if you are coming to the meeting, we're going to keep updating you. There'll be a lot of brand new programs introduced in January or March or even April by the federal, provincial, municipal, crown corporations. So be aware that if somebody who's going to buy a brand new house, first time home buyer, there'll be a lot of incentives available. So hopefully starting next year though. Financial assistance available for those people who want help. If you're an older person, you need emergency repair program. These programs are available in the form of subsidies. Some are loan, some are interest-free, and some are absolutely forgivable. So this is in Thunder Bay. We have bought and sold a lot of real estate in Thunder Bay recently. We can help you if you happen to be in the area, especially if you're looking for a commercial property. St. Catherine is also adding up $20,000 in case you're looking at the St. Catherine area. I understand that St. Catherine is one of a unique town where they allow you to turn single family into up to triplex or 3 units without going through much of a fuss compared to other cities, by the way. Clean home heating initiative in several cities. This is the Peterborough, by the way. Anybody in this room have heat pump in their homes? Anybody? Does anybody know what heat pump works? I'm gonna bring one specialist and see it might be worth it if you can also tap into their forgivable grant at the same time though. Alberta has a beautiful program, by the way. Those who are moving to Calgary, why are they moving? Because they're saying, hey, we can buy a house with 2,000 down. Is that correct? Yes, absolutely correct. That program is also available in Edmonton. Again, a 10-year home is the program in Calgary. Not sure exactly the name in Edmonton, but these programs are really, really good programs though. Those who are interested to look into all these books we have or directories we have, what grants are available for the federal, provincial, for business and real estate. As long as your credit is good, we have a package. We don't push for it because every time I push for it, it gets sold and we may not have enough books in the inventory. So those who want to buy it is $4.99 plus HST. You're getting it at half price, by the way. So how we invested, okay. Those who know about me, we are home junkies. We want to buy neglected properties. Anybody who's distressed owner, not distressed property, distressed owners, we like to help them out, and we can close the deal in a very short period of time, provided if we are able to do proper due diligence though. So in case you happen to know somebody, you refer us a deal, we'll be happy to pay your referral fees or finder fees or bird dog fees. So just feel free. It's available all across Canada. By the way, we have a few properties for sale. And if you're interested, talk to one of the superstar and they will be happy to speak to you during the break time, by the way. We are looking for some joint venture partners, always looking for it. If you're looking for to invest your RSP money, TFSA or something, there's one caution. If somebody is offering you high interest rate, it is risky. If somebody is offering low interest rate, and they are at a loan to valuation lot less, your investment is safe. So it's your choice. Where do you want to rent the money out at a higher price and take a risk, or have a lot less risk, but interest rate will be lower? So just speak to your lawyer, speak to your accountant, speak to your spouse, And whatever your comfort level is, if you're investing your self-directed RSP, TFSA, LIRAS, or anything else, please make sure that greed does not play the role in your decision, though. That's just thought. Evictions are happening all across Canada, by the way. This is something we talk about all the time. The way things are going there because of this financial disruption, because of high interest rate and so on. There is a possibility that over 2 million people, homeowners, can be into trouble financially. And there is a possibility of having a lot of foreclosures or power of sales. And we will be informing you from time to time what are the numbers are. And those numbers are going to be helpful for you. We are open for coaching program. We are not taking anybody in yet, but we are interviewing people and see who is qualified for a coaching program. And this is one of the best investments you can ever do in case you're interested in coaching. This is not for anybody or everybody. It is for very selective type of people who is totally wanting to commit themselves to learn the business. And this is not one of those things. We provide all the leads, we help you out, put the deals together. But again, in case you're interested in, this is something else today. My friend covered it very nicely. And I'd like to skip this one tonight because Rory was able to explain much better, in my opinion, in a beautiful manner compared to what does a question do when you are putting a deal together, or whether you're selling a deal together, how the questions shall be handled. And we will maybe address it another time, but not tonight, because I believe that Rory have done tremendously great job. Okay. And change your mind. This is something, I changed my mind. This is something else. We also do it again. Rory is the gentleman who has been very helpful for me for the last 20, 25 years. It's funny that the more you listen to him, you have to listen to the same program, maybe a couple of years down the road, it sharpens your skill. It put a lot of things together for you. Moving forward, this is something I'm going to discuss tonight. This is a deal happening in BC. It is all over the newspaper. A house worth $1.6 million sold for $600,000. Is that a good deal? Is that a good deal? You can put it in the chat. Would you like to buy a house with $1 million equity in it, though? Yeah, maybe. Yes, could be. Yeah. So this lead to a word which some of you may not heard about. Is called escheated property. Terry Wallman, are you still there? I think he left. I'm glad he was able to join us, but Terry Wallman is the lawyer. We might have Gurpreet. Mr. Mangat, are you here on the line?
Yes, I'm here.
All right, okay. So I just want you to listen to this and maybe you want to give us some feedback. That'll be great. So the property valuation was $1.6 million. This property was the person who died, he didn't have next of kin. And there's a default. And now the total default was $34,900, which was the amount of taxes owing. So this property went for tax sale. Somebody knew this property, made a bid, and they bought this piece of property for $601,000. And they put $34,900 up front, and plus the rest of the money has to come in, though. Now, what happened is the owner have died. And what happened if you have no will, you have no next of kin? What's the process? The terminology is called escheated. This is an act about it. And those who are interested to learn more, I would suggest that you speak to Mr. Mangat, Gurpreet Mangat, about it. And if you have a situation from from case to case basis. You can speak to him and see how can you take advantage of it. So this particular deal, which is located on 1318 Knight Street, Vancouver, by the way, got sold, and the owner have 1 year to come back. But here's the deal: the owner have died in 2016. Now, so when somebody dies, there is something called public guardian or trustee, and now they might have to reverse the sale because they feel that was unfair. So the council have the power to change it. But this thing is in the media. But having said that, since this thing got a lot of attention from the media, but there are thousands and thousands of deals like this all across Canada. If you're interested in learning more about it, get in touch with me. I'll be more than happy to walk you through a masterclass on November 15th. But again, this is a good deal to make $1 million on one deal. How many of you agree that's the best way of buying real estate? $1 million cheaper than the market value. Is that a good deal? All right, moving forward, we're gonna have a skyscraper finally, which will be over 100 floors. That will be exciting. That will be quite exciting to have it. Now, this is gonna be on 1 Yonge Street, and let's see, they got approval. And this is something in the past that we have been competing against, but it's one of those things now, which I believe that this type of condo is going to get a lot of attention. Is it good for speculation? Maybe. Is it good for investment? Maybe not. But again, if you can get into this type of condos in time, yes, it could be good for rentals. Definitely, if they allow you on the short-term rental, that'll be good for you. So here's the good news in Canada. By the way, we gained about 108,000 jobs, better than the US. And about 20 million people are working. 1 million Canadians are not working. And that puts the unemployment rate to 5.2. So this is kind of funny that we are going to be in a recession in the next quarter or this quarter, but our unemployment rate is very low. We have a lot more job openings. That's the good news. The only thing which is killing us is the inflation, high interest rate, and some of the chain supply issues to some other political issues as well. But in one way, this recession may gonna hit us twice. So again, we are very much under the shadow of US. Whatever the US does is gonna affect us. So in case you wanna know, if you want to know exactly what's gonna happen to Canada, just look around your neighbors in the South and what's happening. Their interest rate, it's gonna be pretty much a reflection of US. You don't have to worry about other countries, by the way. Here is something, in my opinion, where most of us can really do numbers. Detached properties, very hard to get one, even in Brampton. Inventory is so low for the detached houses. So in case anybody have a piece of property which is detached, you have it under contract, 3 to 4 month closing. I do believe even in this market, you might be able to flip a detached house for a good profit. Is that a good strategy? If you can buy it whole, perfect. If it's cash flowing, perfect. If you have a detached home anywhere in GTA, in my opinion, there's a shortage of supply based upon the facts. And make sure, don't take my words for it. Ask your realtor to do a bit of a due diligence, check it out, and it might be very helpful for you. We have an eyewitness training coming soon on December 1st from 8:30 a.m. to 2:30 p.m. Those who are interested in it, please make sure you reserve your seat. flippingforprofit.ca/for eyewitness. These are the most valuable place to go to learn in real life. This is going to be an auction, and it can be extremely, extremely educational. Those who are in the apprenticeship program, that's part of your training. Those who have not taken apprenticeship, I would suggest you sincerely look into it. if you want to be in this business for long-term basis though. By the dip strategy, does anybody know what dip strategy works? Anybody? When the market goes up and come back, what happened 2008, what happened 2017? So market intend to take a dip, and the market going to be dipping again in December and January. That might be a good time to buy. And if you want to flip, wholesale, whatever, as an investor, I can tell you what my plans are. December and January, we are going to be focused quite a bit on this dip strategy though. Did the home prices fall faster than ever before? Yes, they did actually. And this is something you need to understand, that compared to Toronto, the ripple effect is having more severe effect. People who are outside Toronto or GTA are feeling it compared to Toronto. The prices you can check with the realtor. There are some pockets where properties are holding on to it. Now we are getting calls. As a matter of fact, we had a call yesterday or day before yesterday, that somebody bought a house from a builder about an hour away from Toronto. They paid 1.6 million to builder, and now they want you to take over the deal for 1.2 million, which is 25% below what they paid for it about 2 years ago. But it's a detached house, but it's away from Toronto. So be aware of it when we talk about it. Make sure you do your proper due diligence. If you do not have a good realtor, we have a lot of superstars who are excellent realtors. And if you want, I'll be more than happy to introduce to you. This is something about your rent prices versus mortgage payments, which areas you will find where you could have a positive cash flow, and which areas you may have a struggle. Again, London and Hamilton and St. John, Newfoundland still good markets from rental point of view. Even though Edmonton and Calgary are offering much better deals, but unfortunately the rent is not the highest there. But it could be good long-term strategy though. This thing I discussed last time, I'd like to quickly mention to you. If you have a detached house in Toronto or townhouse, you want to have renovated, it will be featured in HGTV program. They're giving away $40,000, and there's some conditions involved in it. If you happen to have a property where you don't mind being on television, it's I think 5 or 6 weeks program. Check it out. It's on HGTV. And if you Google the 40,000 free renovate your Toronto property, it'll pop out and you can get in touch with them. Just thought maybe it may interest you. Skip this one too. This property got 57 offers in Scarborough, by the way. This is the old trick realtor just used. They list the property way, way too low. In my opinion, the property value was there about 1.1 million, but they got 1,020,000 with 57 offers in the house. On 6 Hancock Crescent. It's in Wexford, Maryvale area, by the way. That got sold in September. But this is some sort of stuff I see, I call marketing gimmick, or sometimes it backfires on you. Sometimes you will not see any offer exceeding 629. So if your realtor is doing a great job, great advertisement, and if you get a bunch of offers, it works, and sometimes it's backfired, but be aware of it. This is something I'm seeing it time after time right now. What happened is people are defaulting the credit card payments, the line of credits. And what the banks are doing, they're getting a judgment against you. And there's only other judgment which can come ahead of you is called the CRA lien. And CRA lien can also supersede the first mortgage. So this is called super priority lien, be aware of it. Sometimes, when you're buying a piece of property, those who may, for some people, it may be too much information or maybe they don't understand it. But some of professional investors who are apprentices, who are superstars know it. There's money to be made. And these properties are everywhere right now, and people are defaulting. People are defaulting more credit card payments than ever before. We earn $1, we're spending $1.82 or $1.65. Reports intend to change, so just be aware of the priority lien. Any lien which is from CRA have to be paid out first. The lawyers can show you exactly. You may not understand it. If you did not pay your share of taxes, or GST or HST or any other taxes, you cannot sell your property before you have to pay the lien first, even before first mortgage. This is something I talked about. This is exactly what we talked earlier, that people are defaulting quite a bit. And this report I'm going to be sharing with you as the Equifax release information, that how many defaults we have and how much is the delinquent rates are. I'm going to share with you some delinquency rates of people across Canada, where they are doing the most. Majority of the people who are in trouble are in their mid-40s, 45 to 55 are the one who are defaulting the most. These are the one where you have the highest responsibility of the children and yourself. And if you lose your job or something, that does not help. So more or less anybody, if you want to target this people, anybody from 35 to 65 are the people who might be married, have 2 kids, got 1 or 2 properties, and they are defaulting. I'm gonna skip this one for anything. Alberta is pushing really hard to come to Canada, come to Alberta. By the way, they have a lot of campaign going on, and they are saying, come to Calgary, which has the most sunniest city in Canada, and their lower taxes, higher wages, and affordable housing. Yeah, some people are getting into it, but also there's other consideration you have to look into it, opportunities, as well as the cost. These are the number of arrears, by the way. Canadian Banker Association does not give out information every month. They give every quarter. So the defaults are highest right now in Saskatchewan. Number 2 is in Alberta, and Ontario is rising right now. But right now it's fairly low. But as we speak to the private lenders, as we spoke earlier to Mr. Waldman, he's going to be bombarded with all the mortgage enforcements, though. How many Canadians are defaulting their home payment? According to one of the studies, it's about 4%. That's pretty high, by the way. People are trying to borrow money on the credit card and trying to survive. And I do believe that the survival skill they have, or if you have to pay extra $1,000 or $1,200 to meet your existing mortgage payment, and you're going in red, your days are numbered. So it's better to help those people out, help them to downsize, make sure nobody become homeless. The fact is, we are all in pain. This is not a pleasant time. Nobody ever thought that interest rates are going to go so high, or inflation going to go so high. We got ourselves into a situation. It's all across Canada or all across global. If you can help somebody out, get out of the pickle and make some money, why not? Does it offer a lot of opportunities? Yes, it does. This is kind of very painful. And the report says that in 7.8 million Canadians cannot even cope up with $200 a month extra cost. And now we are seeing across Canada, they have to put more money towards the mortgage payments. So if you look at all the facts, I believe that This winter is going to be very tough for a lot of Canadians. They have to downsize quickly. Some of the Canadians going to lose their home. The best thing what you can do is make sure you have proper education in your hand. You have some financial backup. You can help those Canadians. On top of that, make some money. I think that could be a good combination for it. I just want to talk about something quickly about. Okay, I'm not going to talk much about it. It's just time is okay. Good. We are almost there. The next event we have is on December 1st, no, October 15th, about masterclass about how you find properties, pennies on a dollar. And we have next event is December 1st about the field training. Anybody interested in joining us, please let us know. So I'm going to wrap up here, and we're going to have about 15 to 20 minutes as a networking time. You're going to be gone into a room where you're able to talk. It's going to take about 30 to 60 seconds. And when we go in the room, please make sure you speak your heart, ask your questions. There will be superstars. If you have money to invest, that'll be the perfect time. If you want to share anything, or you're looking for something, please do so. So I'll be seeing you very shortly. Let's go for the break rooms. Thank you.